Hi kiddos, it's Miss Elvis coming at you with your study guide because I forgot to do it because I don't have my life together. But anyway, it's fine, everything's fine, we're all fine. Okay, so here we are. 2 ways to get cellular energy: photosynthesis and cellular respiration. If you are a living thing and you should eat, you have to do one or the other. Now, photosynthesis is done by autotrophs, such as plants, like, Haroldine over there, Frank over by the windowsill, Gertrude, all the classics. And cellular respiration is done by animals, such as myself, bunny rabbits, cows, dogs, cats, you name it, they do it. Photosynthesis starts with carbon dioxide, energy from the sun, and water, and it ends with glucose, which is a fancy word for sugars, and not like the table sugar that you put in your coffee. This is like any type of vegetable that you eat. Believe it or not, that is all you eat is vegetables. Even whenever you eat junk food such as potato chips, that comes from potato, which is a vegetable. And then, of course, you have bunny rabbits that eat the grass and cows that eat the grass and so on and so forth. So plants make our oxygen and sugar. We breathe in that oxygen and we eat the sugar, and we put out carbon dioxide, energy in the form of ATP and heat, and then water. Those guys up top, what we start with, those are called reactants, and those guys down low, what we end with, those are called products. Now I want you to notice something. Take a look at the little arrow I drew right there. Notice that the products of photosynthesis are the reactants of cellular respiration and vice versa. We are dependent on each other. Photosynthesis takes carbon dioxide out of the air and cellular respiration puts it back. So that's just a grand overall view. And now we're gonna start with photosynthesis, okay? So it's done in the chloroplast, right? And there are 2 phases. There's light dependent and light independent. Now, why would I call it light dependent? Take a look at what light dependent starts with. Oh, sorry, I got down on my hands. I've been doing science. Anyway, light dependent starts with water and light. Oh, my bad. Anyway, notice that light independent does not start with light. So that's why we call them that, all right? Now, one beautiful thing about this is these processes are just showing you how we end with these things and starting out with this stuff. This is just how it's done, okay? So we start off with water and light. Would you look at that? We already got 2 of our reactants down, okay? See that? Water and light. And we turned it into oxygen, okay? Take a look at that. So we no longer need, we're done. Now all we have left is carbon dioxide and glucose. Look, we get the light independent reaction. It starts with carbon dioxide. So there we go again. Here we go again. All right. We got rid of that carbon dioxide and we ended it with glucose, which is that sugar. So we are done, okay? And that, ladies and gents, is how we do our overall reactions. Now, some key characters I want you to know in photosynthesis are the stoma, which are those little pores on the leaves. They're used for breathing in carbon dioxide, right? You got chlorophyll, which is the light catcher, okay? He's got to catch the light, and he only catches a certain frequency of light, which is green and yellow light, and that's what makes plants green. And then we got ATP for energy used in the light independent reactions, and then NADPH, which is the electron carrier. Now these guys down low, they don't actually make any of these products at all, but what they are key characters. We need them in order for these reactions to occur. That's why I want you to know them. And if you look at your diagram, you'll have a closer look. So now we're on over here in cellular respiration. So it is the complete opposite of photosynthesis, but with a few minor changes, such as the form that energy is made and also expelled a little bit sometimes in the form of heat. So it occurs in the cytoplasm and the mitochondria, okay? There are 3 phases of it. Glycolysis comes first, Krebs cycle comes second, and electron transport chain comes third. All right, so glycolysis, it starts with glucose and it ends with pyruvic acid and 2 ATP. So there we have one little bit of energy made right there, okay? Now that pyruvic acid, it's not exactly a product, as you can see, but it is important to go on to the next step, which is Krebs cycle, okay? So we already got rid of one of our reactants, so it's all gravy. And I do mean pun intended, because gravy is flour and flour comes out of the ground, get it? Okay, so we got pyruvic acid moving on to the Krebs cycle. And with the pyruvic acid Krebs cycle, it makes carbon dioxide. So we just made another product, okay? And 2 ATP. So we got yet another energy made right there, yet another product. And finally, we have the electron transport chain. It's a little more complex with him, but all I'm gonna want you to know about him is that he starts with oxygen. Okay, so there we go. We just got another reactant there. And he ends with water and 32 ATP. So there we made yet another 2 products over here. So that's cool. And finally, remember that fermentation is the process where we lack oxygen, okay? Now, mind you, you got glycolysis, who does not have oxygen anywhere in him, and then you have Krebs, which has a little bit of oxygen and carbon dioxide, and electron transport chain, which has a little bit of oxygen and water. So that's why glycolysis is considered anaerobic, and the other 2 are considered aerobic, because they kind of need oxygen to keep it going. Krebs maybe not directly, but eventually he's going to need oxygen to connect to that carbon there to make carbon dioxide. So that pyruvic acid in glycolysis is turned either into ethyl alcohol. Ooh, that's a pretty little ombre color. Look at that, look at that. Or lactic acid, depending on if we're talking about cheese or alcohol, okay? So that's pretty much all there is to it. And if you have any questions, please let me know.